Hi, how are you today? Today I'm going to be taking a look at this Sony stereo system. This is actually called a mini hi-fi component system, and the model is MHC-EC55. And the reason why I'm talking about this particular style of stereo, I remember this style of stereo was quite popular back in around the early 2000s, and I think I actually got this particular stereo system around 2004, 2005, somewhere around there. So as I mentioned, I think this sort of compact style of stereo system was quite popular, starting from like 2000 and right up until maybe 2006, 2007, kind of in that time frame. And I've always been very happy with this stereo system. It works very well, and basically what's great about it, it's a very compact system. As you can see, I have it here in my entertainment shelf in my living room, and basically it had a 3-disc changer down here on the bottom, and you also had a tuner with AM FM, and what was very interesting, you also had an audio in jack. So, and I remember that being quite a popular feature at that time. Of course, iPods were very popular at that time, MP3 players, and I think a lot of people would use that audio in jack to input such devices. And also, I think some people at that time who were still using cassette decks or maybe even vinyl would input the vinyl or cassette deck into that audio in jack. So it was very, very flexible, and the sound was great. It had a really nice sound to it, and it always worked very well for me, and I still use it to this day. And down there at the bottom of the unit, you can see I still have the sort of promotional sticker that was put on the bottom there. I never really took it off, but it shows us that it's a 130 watt system. As I mentioned, you had an audio in jack, and it specifically says audio in for use with digital music players. And as I said, it has a 3-disc player. It could play MP3s and CDRs and CDRWs. So again, a very flexible machine. And just above that, we have some more buttons. We have the 3 buttons for disc 1, disc 2, and disc 3. And just above that to the left, we have a disc skip / exchange button. And over to the right, we have the eject button for the CD tray. And right there in the middle, we have this wonderful volume knob. I always loved it. It's this big silver button. It's very pleasing to move. It moves very smoothly. You can adjust the volume very smoothly. It just feels really nice. And it kind of reminds me of the classic stereo systems from sort of the 70s and the 80s. For those of you who are old enough to remember the sort of classic component-based stereo systems, they always had these big, hefty silver buttons, and I always loved that. And that's one of the things I always loved about this particular stereo system. And over to the left of the volume knob, starting at the top, we have the power button, and that red light basically means that it's in standby mode. As soon as I turn the power on, the red light goes out. And just below that, we have a display button, and below that we have, as I mentioned, the audio in jack. It's a standard headphone jack, and right below that we have the actual jack for the headphones. To the right of the volume knob, we have another row of buttons. At the top, it says play mode / tuning mode, and then there's a folder up and a folder down button. Below that, we have a button marked DSGX, and I'll talk more about that later. And at the very bottom, we have an EQ button. There's a variety of different EQ settings that you can use, which I will also show you later. And up here at the top, right above the volume knob, of course, again, we see it's a Sony mini hi-fi component system, MHC-EC55. And starting over here, we have the CD play and pause button. We have the tuner / band button, a function button. And over here on the left, we have a button for tuning and also a skip button for the CD. We have a stop button here in the middle, and another tuning up button over here on the right, as well as a skip button for the CDs. And I'm just going to turn this on and show you what the display screen looks like. Okay, and there we go. So it's indicating tuner. And I'm going to turn that down before I get a copyright strike. But basically, that's the volume control. And as you can see, I now have it on FM. But if I hit function, now it's on audio in, so I can input something into the audio in jack over here on the left. CD, and then back to tuner. And I'm just going to show you some of the EQ settings. So you can't see it, but over here on the right, I'm going to hit at the bottom, it's the EQ button. And there's a rock setting, pop, jazz, flat, and back to rock. So you don't have extreme control over the EQ settings, but you do have those sort of general preset settings, which can be kind of handy actually. And there's a little bit of a closer look at the left speaker. Again, the sound quality is very nice. And I'm just going to pan over here and show you the right speaker. And again, it has a nice, big, clear sound, but at the same time, the unit itself is very compact, and it can fit on most shelves, most shelving units in most living rooms or most entertainment centers. And I'm just going to eject the CD tray to show you what it looks like. Okay, and as we can see, we have 3 separate trays. So we have tray 1 for disc 1, and then we have the second tray, and down here is the third tray. And what do you know? Look what's inside here. The Brian Wilson Christmas album. Yeah, always a favorite during the holiday season at my place. So that's basically the CD tray. So that's my look at the Sony Mini Hi-Fi component stereo system, model MHC-EC55. Again, a great little stereo system. It's never let me down. Again, I've had it for almost 20 years now, and it still works great. I still play CDs on it. And again, just a really fun, versatile little machine. I often, on the weekends, will play the radio on it. And once in a while, I will still use the audio in jack. Again, just a really nice, easy to use machine with great sound. And if you are someone who still likes to use an actual stereo system, I know a lot of people nowadays will just listen to music on their laptop or on their smartphone, but there's still quite a few of us out there who still like actual stereo systems. And if you don't have the room for one of the big, bulky component systems from the 70s or the 80s, really, in my opinion, this is your next best thing. So if you happen to find this model secondhand and you're wondering about buying it, certainly if you find one for a decent price, I would definitely recommend picking it up. It's a decent little stereo system that I would recommend. So thank you for watching. Hope you can join us again next time. Please feel free to leave a comment. Give us a thumbs up. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, please subscribe to the channel. It won't cost you anything. There's no obligation on your behalf. But every time someone subscribes, it really helps my channel grow. Thank you so much. We'll see you again next time. Take care. Bye-bye.